I don't know much, but I do know this. My nipples hurt and my dick don't work anymore. Happy 3 months, everyone. Before I say anything else, let me clarify that that is a joke, ladies and gentlemen. In case some of y'all don't understand sarcasm, that is a joke. I am fine. Nothing is broken or anything. Trust me. But it is a joke I like to tell because it's clearly not the same. But we'll get into that when we get into that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 3-month check-in of my hormone replacement therapy experience. I'm your host, Catherine, known as the Blank Canadian Cat. I say meow. I roll intros. It's kind of my thing here. If you haven't been here for the whole 8 or 9 years I've been doing this shit, but anywho, welcome along to this video. And to keep y'all updated, because I know the last video I talked about my shitty camera with PC quality. This is that camera that I've been using, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't work anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure it does not work. So this camera that I had to buy to replace the NFL season and use the face cam all of last year does not work. So I'm probably gonna have to buy another camera, and that has me all sorts of level of annoyed right now. But you know what? We have time. We have time to get over that and whatever. And if you're wondering about the new background, we did finally move to a new 2-bedroom. So this is my room. It's not fully set up yet. I'll have a computer desk over there with a chair and everything. So that way, when we start doing videos, we'll keep going looking this way instead of y'all looking this way. But yes, all videos should be coming this way from future reference. But we're doing this for now because it's the 3 months. Well, 3 months was technically like 2 or 3 days ago because it's the 23rd now, and 3 months is on the 20th. Yes, here we are. Welcome to 3 months. So I want to give y'all an update, or at least tell you what I have experienced with my 3 months ago on this so far. And the first thing I do want to talk about is the thing that probably hit me the most. The sex drive, the libido, and the off and on horniness in general. Now, I want to start off by saying, and the first thing I want to talk about is the decreased libido, damn near killed, or whatnot, and all that. So, first of all, they tell you early on when you start doing this, with the T-drop and the E-rays, all this stuff, they tell you that the testosterone working, the lack of male hormones is gonna make your shit downstairs complicated. It's gonna make that shit complicated. So, one of them recommended to me as I was first starting this, like, hey, make sure you give it maintenance, like, every so often. Which, let me tell you, it's the code for masturbation, folks. Or at least sex, if you have it. But it's code for masturbation. They tell you to do it often so that way it doesn't completely go out of shit. But they don't tell you, like, it does decrease, the sex drive does decrease, but it decreases heavily. Like, to the point where, again, 3 months on this, so I'm like, I don't think about this shit at all. So it's, you almost have to, like, remind us, like, hey, make sure you do this so that way it doesn't, like, not work at all or some shit. And it's not, like, not literally, but, like, to make sure it's still, like, active and that it can be used properly. Like, make sure you do. But yeah, the low libido fucking kills. And then, again, there's also what some people call, like, morning wood, and then just, like the off and on the day boners or whatever. I like to call them, like, just the random boner, personally. That's the name I've always called it. But yeah, that doesn't happen at all anymore. So, you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so that's something you don't have to worry about. And I'm not very active. I consider myself among the ace spectrum to begin with. So, like, that's not really something I think about. But, like, even then, it's like, I wouldn't say I was, like, a frequent masturbator, but it was something I did off and on, like, at least frequent enough. But now with, like, the low sex drive and all this, it's like, I just don't care for it. Like, it becomes more of a chore now, and it's not something you can do spontaneously or randomly. It's a chore now. and it's almost frustrating in a certain sense, because when they tell you, hey, make sure you're staying at least somewhat active with it, and it's like you just don't have the motivation for it. It's not there, so it's like you gotta like almost force yourself to keep at it, like to keep like motivating yourself, or finding ways to say, no, we need to do this so that way we still have something here. And I don't know, I might just be rambling on some shit half of y'all might not care about, or most of y'all might not care about, but like, this is, again, my experience. It's one of those things, like, when they say it kills your sex drive, it kills your sex drive hard. It is honestly astounding. So keep that in mind when you're doing those first couple of days, first couple of weeks. It's gonna kill it. So if you're active or somewhat, make sure you find external reasons to motivate yourself, because internally it's not gonna be there. It simply will not be there. Second thing I do want to talk about, something you'll probably notice relatively quick too, your skin will start to smooth out a little bit. Now for me it was hard to tell off and on, because as you can tell I got relatively hairy arms, so it's like hard to check it. A lot of us have like very deep, very thick body hair, so like it's hard to try to find the soft skin in there, but you'll notice it off and on. And maybe that some days I thought maybe so, but then it was like, now that's just kind of how your skin normally feels. Like you start to like dream or whatever, like, ooh, yay, it's finally happening, like the skin is feeling softer and cooler, but like then you might be just projecting or whatever, which I have definitely done throughout this 3 months experience so far. I've projected a lot of things that realistically have not happened, but I kind of gaslit myself into believing would happen. But when I say the soft skin, I think you start more noticing it like on like the torso area, like your thighs, like that kind of stuff. Like you can just kind of like drag your hand up your body like so, and you kind of feel the skin softness in that. And like once that starts feeling more softer and smooth, it's just kind of like, wow, this shit's actually doing this. And it's kind of wild to think of in a certain aspect, and it kind of takes you back. But like the more the month or two goes by, or the third month, you really start to notice it. You really start to notice like the smooth, the soft, the almost cool, like not like the temperature drop in a way. Like it feels like almost as if your arms are a different temperature than, say, like internally, or like your head, or that's what I know. Like your external skin feels colder than your internal, which I've heard some people talk about, like the heat change, yada yada, especially with winters. Winter's gonna be a lot colder than normal. I'll let you know when winter comes up how I'm feeling. By then I should be 8-9 months in, so that'll be a whole different story. But yeah, skin softness is definitely another thing that comes up. And then I'll talk about one more thing. For me, when I was learning or doing research, they said emotional change, or like the emotional fluctuality or some shit like that. They say that's more active, more present, more manipulative, or something like that in a way. For me, individually, I didn't really feel like I've experienced that. Like, I definitely have moments where I'm more like, I've for years I've had moments where I'm definitely more emotional than most individuals. I just am a very emotional person. I care, yada yada. But like for me, I wouldn't say I even noticed or acknowledged like the quick change that some people said this shit will happen like a week or two. Like I never got that. Now, like a week or so ago, it felt like, because there was a discussion going on with a group of friends, and it felt like out of nowhere I was getting very emotional for something that didn't even have anything to do with me. Like this had nothing to do with me, but like somehow talking about it with them, I was getting emotional, like more emotional than I think I normally would get. And like again, I'm a pretty emotional person as is, or like I like to think I'm not a very like an angry individual. I'm more like, sad, caring, yada yada, motherly figure, so to speak. But basically, I noticed these last couple of days especially, it's just certain things, certain sensitive topics kind of get to me more now. So it's one of those little things to keep an eye on. Some say it happens a couple of weeks. Some say I'm not even sure if the emotional states I've been in the last week or two, because I had a massive depression streak earlier this month, but that had nothing to do with that. My life was kind of just hitting shit as is those couple of weeks. But even now, it's I don't know where I am fluctuating realistically. And again, that could just be me. That could be hormones. That could be the shit that's been going on in my life, because I've had a lot of shit going on recently. But, yeah, keep an eye out for that. You might be more emotionally vulnerable. You might not be. I don't know for certain. But they told me if I should be expanded the first couple of days of the week or so. To me, I feel like I haven't really noticed it until almost 3 months. And again, maybe that isn't even related to that. But either way, it is. These are my documents. This is me telling you what I think. But all in all, I will say, through all this, the biggest thing that I've noticed was the depleted sex drive. And you can have days for sure where you're not even into that shit, even if you're on a normal hormonal range. But no, that shit gets killed. There's no motivation, there's no will, there's no, you're just chilling and oh, you saw something that was attractive and turned you on. There's not even that. You don't get that. It's just killed. So that's my biggest takeaway for 3 months. And outside of that, the papers that did the blah 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 for testing for my 3 months, they didn't show me the estradiol levels, but they showed me the testosterone. I told you I started this process at 263 when I went in for my blood work on July 11th. They said the levels are down from 263 all the way down to 20, which, yes, it's not all the way down completely, but the goal, I guess, realistically for most people is the longer you're doing this, you want to be more in those teens. But again, I'm only 3 months in, so it's we're still getting there. We're still figuring things out. We need more time, and I'm assuming after 6 months, everything will get marked up and we'll get figured out. But outside of that, that's all I really got to say. Make sure you're keeping extra money on you at all times, because those appointments, if you don't have insurance, those appointments are costly, and those pills are costly, because you're filling up those things almost every month now. But I think I'm at a point where, since I'm not going to be seeing my people again for another 3 months, they're just going to throw me all the pills now, so I should be fine. But yeah, those spiral pills for me are $40-$50. The estradiol is 20-30. And then they also gave me vitamin D, because on my first blood test they thought that was low, so I got vitamin D as well. So yeah, this shit, it's pricey. So if you don't have insurance, make sure you have money saved up, because this stuff is expensive. Or if your family loves you, make sure they can help out. My family don't love me, so yeah, I gotta pay for my own shit. And I mean that. I'll say this now just for the sake of saying it. I'm debating changing my life. I changed my first name and I changed my middle name. I'm keeping my initials the same when I transition, but I'm now at that point where I'm thinking about debating changing my last name, just because, I'm kind of getting tired of my family not being supportive, or not even caring. So it's something I'm thinking about. But I'll let you know, probably on Twitter, the earliest, when I rewatch this and do the 6 months video. I don't know if I'm going to do 6 or 7 months, because 6 months, when they start that's usually when they give you the option to prescribe the progesterone, and they say that does a lot of shit mentally to you as well. So I might just do a 7 months instead, just to see how true that is, just to give you an idea. But anyway, that's all I really got to say. This will probably be the only video from this perspective. So hopefully by next time you see my face, next time you're going to see my face after this will probably be the predictions. But next time you see my face, you'll be leaning against that wall, facing this way. And hopefully it'll be a bit better camera, because that one don't work no more, and I have to record this video off my lovely iPhone. So with that, thank y'all for watching. I hope this is informative. I hope this just wasn't you looking at me talking about my dick the whole time. But it is what it is. Thank y'all for watching. I will see you all in the next video for the next update. Choose peace, accept love, have big trust. Good night, Internet.